welcome to another show of Don't Get This Twisted. I am Rob, along with my co-host, as always, Tina. How you doing, Tina?
I'm doing good, Rob. How you doing?
A little warm.
Yeah, it's a little warm today, but what is it, getting to 75 now or something?
Yeah, they said, and it's going to be a 16-degree drop tomorrow.
Are you kidding?
No.
Interesting.
And then rain Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Balls. Not a fan of the rain.
I'm not a fan of the cold anymore. I mean, I really never liked it. Now I really don't like it.
Saying Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, here's going to be rain.
Well, say I think I only have Wednesday, Thursday.
Aren't you a lucky dog?
Either way, it's going to suck. I mean, there's small chances. It's only 55%. So, I mean, and that's for California. Who knows? 55% means like dog shit, but
5% means it rains for 3 days, and 100% means you got a sprinkle going on at the moment. But
yeah, it sprinkles all day.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought we'd get this ball rolling. You sent things today, so you get to say what, because the last couple of shows we've been really not really planning anything.
No, I was thinking about subjects and things that are going on in my life, which is normally where I pull from.
Me too.
And one of the things that that I was discussing with several people and have had really good conversation is what it takes to be honest in a relationship, and being honest in what it takes, and so just talking through that with my friends and a couple of cousins and going through my own experiences, and I thought that would be a good one for today.
And what have they been saying? Let's go with the outside before we go on the inside, because I know me and you will probably have tons of things to say about it. But
yeah,
what are the cousins and friends saying?
Okay, so women nowadays are basically set up with the mindset that men are going to lie and they're going to cheat, and I don't think that that's a fair assessment, because I know a lot of really good guys that are waiting for somebody that believes in them so that they can be honest and they can have a good relationship. And I saw you raise your hand. I know you're one of them. But again, I know some really cool people. So I think that that's part of it. Like, you got to get around people that could be trustworthy to begin with. And that's one of the things that I'm sharing with my friends. I'm like, oh, come on, that guy you're talking about, he was not truthful from the get, and you wanted him to be something he couldn't be, and that's not going to ever work. But there are men that want to be honest and want to have a relationship where honesty is a big deal. And I find most of the time that I have these relationships with men I'm friends with. Men I'm friends with could tell me anything, and you could relate to that. Like, there's been times you've told me stuff and I'm like, oh shit, Rob, but I don't judge you. I just, oh, how's he going to get out of this one? Or, what is he going to do? What's he going to do next? Because, I'm all about the story. So I let people be honest with me and without judgment. And I think that is the first building block of having a good relationship, where all of my friends that I'm talking to that are single, I'm talking about single ones, are saying you can't trust them. You can't give them the benefit of the doubt, but you can. I believe that you could have any type of relationship with any type of person that you want. It depends on how you show up. And that's where it starts. It's not starting with the guy that can't be honest. If he can't be honest, what are you saying to him that's making him think you're going to judge everything that comes out of his mouth? That's, and women are guilty of that. Women are very guilty of that, because they think that men are all liars, and they're just not. They're forced to lie to live in the situation that they've been put in with whatever woman they're with.
Correct.
And that's where
a good
it
assessment.
starts. Yeah. So that's where my friends and I all started with, was what are we doing, or what are they doing, or what are us as women doing that's making it hard for men to be honest? Because I think they want to be. I really do.
I think so too. I mean, just by talking to my male friends, even the ones that are married, like, can't be utterly honest.
No.
And it's kind of sucky. Like, I listen to the married guys at my work because I'm really the only single person. There's one other young guy, but besides that, and he's never been married, so he kind of doesn't count. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, um, I think that, yeah, there's always something because look, I think men are always waiting to hit the tripwire and set the
Yeah.
explosive off. And that's a bigger problem. I think here's the thing with me about being honest. Being honest can ruin everything, right? But I also think that it's a building block for everything. So
Mhm.
your partner is going to decide that. It's kind of like this whole thing where women will go, I don't want a bad guy and I don't want narcissists and I don't want this and I don't want that. And I want him to be emotional. And the first time the guy's emotional, they go, he's weak. He's a
Yeah.
pussy. Look, he cried, blah, blah, blah. It's like, look, you can't have both or you have to have both. So it, if you want an emotional guy, emotionally there for you and understands and is going to do that, you also have to be there for him.
Absolutely.
So, and if you don't want the narcissist asshole, pick the other one.
Mhm.
They're out there.
Yeah.
But I also think that women, uh, women's expectations are so fucking high
They're
that
they're
men
not
they're
I don't
never going to reach them.
I don't know that they're high. I think that they're just I think they're just too um they're not realistic.
Right. They're outlandish.
Yeah. I think that okay, so for me, because I have very close male friends
Mhm.
and I've been going through it with a couple of them and listening to them and to hearing what they're going through and having real I always tell people I'm going to be real with you. So if you don't want me to be real, you need to tell me right now not to because I don't know how to be any other way. But if you want me to be superficial and agree with you, I got you. I could do that too. So in a couple of them, I'm dealing with a friend that's really struggling with his marriage.
Mhm.
And I always tell him, "Why don't you tell her the truth?" And he says, "I can't. She doesn't want to accept that." That's the first problem. When your partner does not want to accept the truth, you're never going to have a reconciliation of any sort of problems that you're having because you have to be able to say the truth, whatever it is. And the person needs to be able to put their guard down and put their ego aside and say, he's right. I do that. And no wonder he can't feel like he could trust me or he can't say something to me. No wonder he's sitting with his friend and having a conversation for 4 hours over a coffee and he won't sit for 10 minutes with me. And I've actually told women that my friends were with and said, "Look, I'll tell you why he won't sit with you. It's because every fucking thing that comes out of his mouth, you're telling him he's a liar, he's a cheater, he's manipulative, he's a narcissist." Instead of going, I understand what he's saying. Because
Mhm.
he is trying to tell the truth. He is trying to say what he needs. You don't want to hear it. I go, I got it. I'm telling you right now, I know what he needs. He needs you to fuck him a couple of times a week. Can we just start with that? Like, let me be honest with you, because he can't. If you're not fucking your husband, I don't know what to tell you, but he's not going to be sticking around for you. And he's not going to be having warm, loving feelings of support for you. And he's not going to be wanting to pick you up because your car broke down. He just doesn't want to because you're an asshole every time he tries to talk to you. Now, that woman, she doesn't really talk to me anymore, obviously, because she didn't want to hear the truth from him. And she sure as hell didn't want to hear it from me.
Right.
But when I went back to my friend and I told him what I said, he goes, "That's exactly what I'm saying." And I said, "Yeah, I know. I heard you. Like, but I'm not the one with you.
Right.
You need to get her to understand that." And I think a lot of it, I hate to say this because I don't like to women bash or men bash, but I think women are being really fucked up to men these days and making it so they can't have an opinion, they can't have a life, they can't be respected enough to be trusted. Women are just dropping the ball on them left and right, and it makes me sad.
Yeah. I think there's a razor's edge of everything, right? So look, I believe women's expectations are absurdly high or unrealistic.
Mhm.
To think that you're not going to settle is crazy. Everyone's going to settle.
In
All of
one
us,
way, shape, or form, yeah, for sure.
in some form or another. Oh, now, what you settle for is your own thing. So, um, I just think, and again, I'm gonna come from the men's side, and I'm sure get bashed for it, but whatever. Men, men are simple creatures. We want someone who is going to bring us peace and give us love and attention and be with us whenever we need. I
And
think
not make
women
life
want
totally
that.
chaotic.
Right. Look, chaos comes with everything. If you don't think you're going to get a woman with chaos or you're going to get a man with chaos, you're out of your mind as well.
No, but I
Chaos
mean
comes with
complete
everything.
chaos. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You just want somebody who minimizes the bullshit and is there as your friend.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. And I think a best friend is the base of any good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But like men, women, and again, I'm going to throw out this, and it's not everyone. So bell curve, over 6 feet, over six figures, drives a nice car, has a great job, all these things that they have to hit. A man doesn't give a shit what you do for a living.
Mm-mm.
They want you to I want you to make me feel a certain way. I want to be loved and I want to love you and I want to do that sort of thing. So I think that the telling the truth part is even harder for a man because at the end of the day, we walk on eggshells all the time because I think we look at our woman as everything. Most men, and again, bell curve, most men are willing to do anything for their mate. If you're in love with someone, you're going to do everything. I heard a great thing about someone goes, I heard a man tell his girlfriend at the time, you want unconditional love. And they were bickering with each other. And I heard a great statement many, many months later from, I think, someone on a podcast or something. It was the greatest thing ever. They said, if you're in love with the person, it's already unconditional.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was such a great way of putting it. If you're truly in love with somebody, and I mean willing to do whatever it is for them, it already is unconditional. There is no conditions. Are there boundaries? Sure. Do I want my girlfriend going out every weekend with her friends, dolled up to the T and leave me at home? Of course not. No one
Mm-mm.
wants that. Why? Then I might as well not be in a relationship with you. Now,
And
is
who
there
you dressing
sharing
up
time?
for?
Huh?
And who are you dressing up for?
Yeah, look, I understand girls like attention. Let's not kid ourselves there. But here's my thing. I also want you to dress up like that for me when we're out.
Mm-hmm.
There's something to that. But see, I'm that guy. I want my girl to look great. I love that shit. I think it's awesome. Um, but I also want my woman to be able to, you don't have to be nice to other men. I'm sick of that thing too. Like, oh, you post a picture and they say something nice about you and you say, oh, haha, thank you. Why? Don't do that shit. That's the
No.
worst thing you can feasibly do.
Well, and that's not okay. So when you get into social media, it's not about being nice. People comment all the time, whatever. You could let them comment. You don't have to thank every single person. And if you are, why are you thanking them? What do you want from them? Because clearly you want the relationship to go a little bit more. Social media is not my thing. So I don't spend a lot of time screwing with it. But when guys that I know come up and they DM me and stuff, I just block it. I was like, wait, is this somebody I know? And then, no, it's not. Okay, blocked. I don't, it's like it's not a real relationship. It's almost like talking to a movie star. A movie star sends you pictures and stuff. You're not going to believe that they want to
Right.
talk to you. You just blow them off and move on. Same thing with stuff on social media.
I agree, but I think men are fishing always.
Yeah, maybe.
My whole thing is this, is that you don't have to be nice to anybody. If you're in and again, maybe I'm just old fashioned my whole thing is that you should shut down any man that ever talks to you, period. And vice versa. I should do exactly the same. If a girl walks up to me and says, oh, hey, I think you're cute, the first thing you should say is, nope, I'm good. See you later.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Not even that. Nope. I'm all right. I'm going to see my girlfriend now. I'm married. I have a girlfriend. Whatever it is the fuck you need to say. I think there has to be a line in the sand because we live in a digital world now where everyone thinks they can just swipe to the next person.
Mm-hmm.
If you're willing to fight for a relationship, you have to do it. And to me, that's not being, someone will say, oh, that's narcissistic or that's this kind of behavior. No, that's just me going, this is the type of relationship I want to be in. You have less worries about anything if your girl's like that. Shut shit down. And if you're a man, do the same. If a girl's flirting with you, you need to put that bitch in check. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it's in front of your lady, even more.
Well, if it's in front of her, at least you know what she's, she's not trying to hide anything.
No. But I just think that it's like, look, there's just something about it to me. Like, and look, there's something about being cordial. Like girls are just way more nicer. I think girls are just nice. Like, oh, he was just being nice. He just said something nice to me. Awesome. You still have to shut that down. To me, I just think it's a healthier way of doing things. Like it's just too easy. And men will take anything back from that as being, oh, she was flirting with me. Oh, she wanted to talk to me. No, put that shit in check. Where I think men will just blow women off. Like, no, whatever. Bye. I got to go. I just think, again, we're different people. But I think that that's also like honesty of a relationship. Being honest is very hard because most people don't want to hear the fucking truth.
Well, that's true.
And for good reason.
But they also don't want to be judged. And I think that that's the bigger part of it. We need to get to a place where we could be honest. Like I have a friend that I talk to all the time and I'll tell him, I'm going to be honest with you, but don't kill the messenger. Like I'm not making this up. I'm just telling you the flip side. And if you want an honest answer, I'm the person for you and I'll love you enough to tell you, but I'll also tell you in a way that doesn't make you feel like a dumbass. And I think that when women actually do tell men the truth, they make them feel stupid. And there's no need for that. Guys don't know what girls know and girls don't know what guys know. We've established that.
For sure.
But if you're a friend and you want to be a friend, you tell them the truth. And you say it in such a way that they could accept it and they could learn from it. And they don't have to be dumb for doing it.
There's a huge difference between being truthful and hurtful.
Right.
Huge.
And I always say there's a way you could say anything, but there's a way to do it.
Right. And I think that, look, I've listened to way too many podcasts or people or read books now and haven't been able to put all these things into a relationship just because I haven't been in one. Being truthful is hard though, because like no one wants to hurt the person they like or love or are married to. But like I have a friend who I work with. We talked about his relationship on here before. He's in pretty much a sexless relationship. His mate went and got surgery, got new boobs. I'm sure to feel better about herself, whatever it was. And he's made said things to me where he was just like, yeah, like got new boobs, really don't get to see him. Don't get to test him. Don't get to play with him. And we're men. That's what we want to do.
Not only that's his wife. He's supposed to be attracted to her in that way. He's supposed to want to touch her. He's supposed to want to feel that attraction. Men need that in order to feel attracted. So why would she push him to the side unless she got him for somebody else?
I mean, yes. I mean, we could argue that fact for a while.
It's happening.
Yes.
I talk to women all the time. They're always coming in with their boob jobs. And even they want me to feel them. I'm like, I don't want to feel your boobs.
Yeah.
So why would they not let their husband? Come on now.
Exactly. And like, here's the thing. And then I'll give you the other side of like the coins of being, you can be honest. And maybe there's some issues with self-confidence
No.
in that. And it wouldn't shock me.
Nobody has confidence problems when they got a new set. I'm sorry.
I will disagree with you.
I don't know.
I'll
From what
disagree
I
with you.
see, I don't see that.
Uh,
They may have had insecurities, but once they get them, they're rocking them like they were born with them. Come on.
Maybe, but I still think that, look, I've seen people with buried insecurities that no matter what, and they were heavy once and now they're thin and look way better to themselves. And they had told me with their last boyfriend that he had never seen her naked. Ever. Now, in the dark, yes, but never like naked. And I was talking to her about that because I'm like, I'm big on that. And I understand that you're not happy with yourself or whatever. Like I made a joke. I didn't even make a joke. I said something to her. Obviously, it's the person that I like. And I told her one thing after she had told me that. I said, the first thing, if we would ever to have sex, I go, the first thing is we have to get naked in front of each other. And she was like, you're crazy. And I go, nope. I go, you have to break the mold now. I want to shower with you. I've been in a shower where someone was covering their boobs because they were still not confident about themselves. And here I am, I'm butt ass naked. I'm hairy.
Guys are good for that, though. Guys are good to get naked and just say, fuck it, this is who I am.
I just think that everyone does. I mean, look, I have no confidence. I wouldn't say that I was confident about myself. I'm just, if once you decide you're going to have intimate relations, you better get used to being naked with each other.
Yeah, for sure.
And if I'm pushing towards that, if I'm telling you like, I want to take a shower with you, it's because I want to touch you in the shower. Like because I'm not going to go in there and wash my fucking hair and nuts and get out. That's just not why I'm in there. And I'm being honest. That's the truth. And I think there is something about sharing that time together. Sharing a shower, even though you are doing your things, there is still something about sharing a shower. You're going to touch each other. You're going to do whatever. Maybe I'm going to wash your back, whatever it is.
Exactly.
There's something to that's intimacy. And people are afraid to talk about intimacy. They won't even want to tell the truth about that.
Mm-hmm.
Men don't tell their women, look, I just want you to touch me. No man will do that because most women will tear them down for it or say something about it, or you just want to fuck. It's like, no.
Of course.
I mean,
but what is wrong with that? Like, what is wrong? They should want to touch you. They should want to fuck you.
Yes.
Of course.
I don't disagree with that. But what I'm saying is it doesn't always have to be that. I'm a big guy that, like, when I'm out with who I'm with, I like to touch the small of their back. I'm big with that. I like to hold hands. If you're short, I'm probably going to put my hand on the back of your neck and bring you towards me, whatever it is. I'm a touchy feely guy. And it's really hard for me to be around somebody that I like and not do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been I went somewhere with somebody where I wanted to, and I was afraid to, because you don't want to pass a line in the sand. There's all other things, even though we've passed that line in the sand a bunch of other times before that, just that we have this very bizarre relationship. And I was over her house and got intoxicated not too long ago. And I told the truth and good. And so did she, because we were both under the influence. And it's funny because she will tell me that she doesn't like to drink in front of me because we end up doing things that we're not supposed to.
Mm.
And this time we didn't. And I said, see, it's not always about that. I can control myself. I know what I'm doing. And she goes, yeah, but I generally don't. I go, okay, fair enough.
So then that's on her. That's not your problem. That's her problem.
But it is. But my whole thing is the truth. You don't have, look, she knows how I feel about her. I don't have to be intoxicated. I'll tell her to her face everything that I told her that night. I just happened to just blah, 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 blah. It was like word vomit.
Mm-hmm.
but I think that the truth is hard. I mean, I've been very truthful with this person, probably more than anyone else that I've had relations, or I hate to say have a crush on, whatever it is, like, like love. She's my best friend. But I have intimate thoughts about her. So for me, I just think that I've got past that whole thing of not being truthful. I didn't do a lot of that in my marriage, and I for sure didn't do it in a lot of relationships growing up. I just bit my tongue and sat down and whatever, and was complacent. And this girl makes me not want to be like that. She makes me want to go, nope, this is how I feel. This is where I'm at.
And
This is what I
that's
want.
the start of something good, though, because when you want to tell the truth, when you want to like say whatever's on your mind, that's part of a good relationship. That's the start. That's where you want to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be with somebody that you can't tell the truth.
No.
Listen, I got a friend where I could tell him freaking everything, like everything. And rightfully so, he tells me back. And the rules that we've established are, me and you are friends, so don't be an asshole, because I'll call you an asshole. If you're being an asshole, I'll be like, nope, you're being an ass. You don't get to talk to me like that. Be honest with me, but don't judge me. Don't be like that. So we've gone through this life of trying to be really honest. It's not always easy. I think I'm a little better at it than he is, because he's been in relationships where he has had to be quiet and suck it up and not say a word just to keep the peace. Where with me, I'm like, oh no, motherfucker, if you're talking to me, you tell me the truth. Like, don't, and I'll call him on it. You're lying to me. You're not telling me the full truth. Tell me what's going on, and let's talk about this. And through our friendship, we've gotten really freaking honest with each other, to where he could say, she just won't fuck me. I don't know what to do. And I go, well, you've done this long enough that you know that it's not going to work, because it hasn't all this time.
Right.
Take a step back and figure out why, and do that. Like, so he could just tell me like it is, but the rules are, I don't slam him in his relationships or whatever he's doing. He doesn't slam me. We're being friends. We are trying to maneuver through life, being as good to each other and to our mates as possible, and just being really honest. And we have a really good relationship. As a matter of fact, people have asked, how come you guys have never dated? And I'm like, nope, I only date one person per group, or, or like one family member. Like I'm not going there with multiple people in the same,
household.
Yeah. Not household, but the same world. And you know what? I think it's okay to do that. I think it's okay to say, you know what? If I hadn't dated your brother, if I hadn't dated your friend or whatever, then that would be a totally different story. But yeah, no, I can't do that,
Yeah.
Or I don't want to do that. I don't want it to get to that place with
For
them.
sure. Like I can tell you, if the girl down the street ever said like, hey, I have a friend that would be good for you, I could never, ever, 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 ever do that.
No, and why would you want to? You don't want to ruin their friendship trying to start a relationship that's
not even just
really
that.
Gonna work out.
It just wouldn't be fair to the other person.
Agreed. I agree.
It just couldn't be. It just because of either internal feelings or. And then I don't think, see, this is where telling the truth would be hard. I don't think I could tell another person how I feel about her.
Yeah.
Because it would just wouldn't work.
I get that.
So why do you think it's so hard for people?
Because they can't be honest.
No, but why? Like, what is it? Is it the whole thing of like, if I say something wrong, it's going to end? Because I think that's what it is for men.
I don't know. See, for me, anybody that knows me knows that if we can't be honest, then I definitely, it won't work. It will not work. So I think that most men come to the table wanting to be honest with me, but not knowing how. And maybe the way that things come around, they could either do it or they can't. But I always try to tell them, hey, be honest with me. Just talk to me. Tell me the truth. Let me digest it, because sometimes it takes a minute to hear that I'm doing something wrong, or I'm not being what they need me to be, or they don't like what I did or whatever. Give me a minute to digest it, but don't judge me. Tell me how you felt about it, and then allow me to make my own changes. And if you do that with me, I'll be more willing to be honest, because it's not a pass or fail sort of thing. It's a give me a minute, let me check in with myself, let me see how I feel, let me see how I could change this, or even if I want to. And I'm finding that's way better communication than what I've done in the past, or what I even knew to do in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, first of all, you can't judge the person that you want to be honest. If you want them to be honest, you need to put the judgment away. You need to let them be able to say what they need to say to you.
Correct. I just think, okay, the men side, I'll give you the man thing. And this is multiple friends that have told me. The thing is for men is that they think that if they say one thing too honest, their woman will just go the other direction. And maybe not in marriage, but boyfriend and girlfriends. If I say the wrong thing, or if I tell the truth on this, and I'm talking about like, things that are big in relationships, like, do you want to get married? And I think guys will step back, or whatever it is, and they'll tiptoe around things instead of telling the truth, because they'd rather stay in that relationship because it's a good relationship, all but this or all but that.
Yeah, but it's never really all but that. If they can't be honest, it's way more than that.
I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that better to have the person that you like to be around than worry about fucking it up. I don't think I'll be like that now. I'm just past that. I just think that both people that are in that relationship, at the end of the day, if it didn't work out, life goes on. Right. And it always has for all of us.
It always will.
And it always will. So be honest, because I think that the more honest you are, the more likely you are to build something that really means something.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm just not a hurtful cuss. The shit I've heard people say to other people is beyond me. Like, mm-hmm. that they say they're not even being honest. They're just being shitheads. Like, again, talking about people's body parts and how they are, but to be truthful and say like, hey, I would prefer you not do this. Or, and vice versa. Look, I think if someone comes to you and with real feelings and goes, look, this is hurtful to me. Like, I don't like you talking to this person, or I don't like you following these girls on Instagram. I'm just crazy. I guess if I'm in love with someone, if they came to me tomorrow and said, you follow these girls on Instagram, I'd delete everything off of it while she watched me. I don't care. It's not real life. Real life is way more important to me. And that's being truthful. And vice versa. If I came to her and said, look, this guy is always fucking commenting, like, put him in check. Like, it's bothering me. I would hope that my spouse, if you're married, or my girlfriend would know enough to go, this is not a real world. These are just a bunch of guys that are Googling at your picture. Mm-hmm. That's it. I'm the one who really likes you for the inside you. And the outside is easy to like. It just is. The truthful shit is on the inside. The person who has flaws, and you can tell them, I love your flaws. I know you have them. That's truthful shit. No one says that anymore either. So many people are so wound up in just being like, if I tell them that they're fucked up, they're going to be mad. It's like, no, I get it. You're fucked up. We all are. But I love that about you. I'm okay with that. I told her one day, I don't want to fix you. I just want to be on the trip with you when you fix yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. And that, to me, that's truthful. And she said some shit to me that's very truthful that borderline hurt me, but was true. She wasn't trying to hurt me. She was just like, this is this. It's like, yeah. So, I mean, I have a magnet on my refrigerator and some stickers I had made. And it just says, I say dumb shit because I say dumb shit and I know it. And it's got me in a lot of trouble with her. And so now I have these stickers in my magnet. And so I can remember, like, before you say things, sometimes you should think, because sometimes I don't. But the truth part is that it spurts out. So I think more people need to really think about the relationship they're in and step back and go, if the truth is going to hurt them so much that they don't want to be with me, they shouldn't be with me.
And if the truth is going to hurt them so much that they have a problem receiving the truth, they're not really for you either.
Right.
Like, it's got to be somebody that's, when you're in a relationship, you're going to be vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is what's going to happen when you're in a relationship, because if you do something wrong, the other person's going to call you out on it. You're going to have to be vulnerable. Shit happens. But what you want to look for is somebody to say, hey, I really don't like that you did that, but it's not going to pick at you and make you wrong every time you do something. It's like, okay, again, I don't like that. Please don't do that. And then let it go. It's nobody on this earth is perfect. And I think we're more fucked up today than we've ever been in relationships.
Absolutely.
So you have to give the person that you're with a break. You have to love them enough to say, okay, they messed up. I'm not saying cheating on you and doing stuff like that.
No.
Like, that's way past what I'm talking about.
Correct.
But when you're talking and somebody says something to you and you don't like what they said, you need to look at yourself and say, why don't I like it? Mm-hmm. And most of the time you don't like it because it's true.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And then if it's true, you have to deal with you. You have to look at yourself and say, why is that such a bother? I've gotten to the point, I think age does this too, where it's like, yeah, well, I'm not always a perfect person, so fuck it. But at the same time, I don't try to hurt people, and I don't try to put into, I don't pick on them for having their opinions. Everybody's got them. And the people that don't judge me get to hear more stories than the people that do.
I think it's about meeting in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't... in a perfect world, yes, you guys would never argue and you'd never fight and you would never do any of this.
That's boring though.
It's just, but it's also not real.
Yeah.
Right.
It's boring. What are you really holding back in order to have this quiet in your world?
Well, I'll tell you, because I did it for 11 years in my marriage. We never fought. Never. And I think that was a huge problem. Mm-hmm. That I just sat on things and went, whatever, makes her happy, even though it might not have made me happy. And
there you go.
And again, I have no problem saying my divorce is probably a lot of my fault. So, which is most people also won't tell the truth about.
Yeah.
But I'm also, I think, going into whatever I get into next, there has to be some kind of, hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. Here's our boundaries for each other outside the house. Like, don't do this, don't do that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because then there's no one's getting hurt.
No questioning it.
If you know the rules, and I mean that in the nicest way possible, if you know the ground rules of each other, I don't want to hurt my mate. And if I'm in love with her, nothing is worth hurting her over. Mm-mm. There's no piece of ass that's going to be better than her.
No, because the piece of ass isn't offering to be with you when life gets messy. The
Correct.
piece of ass isn't going to be there when you're sick, or when you lose your job, or when a parent dies, or when your kid's in a car accident. Like, the piece of ass doesn't do that.
No.
And so you're already accepting less than what you've got, because you've got somebody at home that basically said, I'll take all of that crap.
Right. And generally, and I'm going to say this because I think women are just more, I mean, both of us, I guarantee you that what you think the piece of ass is going to give you, your mate at home is already freaky enough.
Yeah.
You either have got bored of it or haven't talked about what you're both into. That's the other there's another whole fucking 45 minutes of truthfulness, what you're into sexually, what you're willing. Do you know what I mean? Like, we could do a whole another pod on that, because I think a lot of people don't talk about that.
Well, then let's do it.
and that's what I think also ruins a relationship, not being truthful about that. But you can be. I mean, your mate should make you want to be a better person for them and for you. You know, I want the person I like makes me right now want to be a better man. But also I feel that she makes me like really feel that way. Like, I feel like when I'm around her, like, I just feel like a different person. And I hope that she feels the same way. And I think that if you're both not feeling that way, you need to come to the middle and be truthful about it.
Well,
I guarantee
it's also
you 9
the
times
wrong
out of
person, because the right person should make you feel like you want to be a better person. Always.
No,
always,
I agree.
Always.
But what I'm saying is that, look, and I'm talking time. Time will falter relationships. So you're right. In the first 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, things better be really good. That's still the honeymoon stage to me. I'm talking like a 10-year marriage, or, you know, I've seen relationships die in 6 months and they were there for 2.5 years, which is fucking absurd to me. I told my friend down there, look, we should date. We should try this. And there's issues with that, or, you know, on either side or her side or whatever. I said, I'd rather date you for 3 months and try this out. And when you come to me and say, it's just not for me, at least I can walk away with my head high.
Yeah, you tried it. But the what ifs are not gonna ever get you where you need to be ever, if you're always afraid to try.
And she did say something funny, because we both are very similar in ourselves. She goes, neither of us are going to do that because we're both people pleasers and we'll stay in a relationship way too long. And I said, look, you might be right to a certain degree, but I think that we're both different now as we get older. If I'm not happy, I don't want to be in a relationship. And like I said, like, she is my best friend only because I see her so much. I feel like I can tell her anything. I don't want to lose that either. But I also think it's worth losing if I think there's more to what we are anyway. So it's worth gambling my friendship with her to see if there's a future.
Well, and if you don't gamble it, that's going to end it also. Because you guys are going to get tired of doing what you're doing, or you're going to go try to gamble with somebody else. It's never lost opportunities will always leave you going, what if? Yeah. Taking the opportunity and fucking it up royally, well, at least I knew. You know what I mean?
I mean, I went on a date with a couple dates with somebody, cute girl, really nice. I told my friend, and I told her, I said, yeah. And she's like, oh, yeah. And I said, it was awesome. I had a good time with her. Like, nothing more than that. Just, you know, dinners. But I said, at the end of the day, she's not you. And that's the hard part. Like, you know, it was fun. And I think I've already been ghosted. So, like, it's either that's a whole other thing. So the dating world is so difficult now.
Well, if you're not ready to be with somebody else,
that probably comes off.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm
She's
sure
going to
that
notice that.
probably you're probably true.
Yeah.
Probably right. But I don't know. I just think that there's so many things, and I wish I had an answer of why it's so hard for people in general to just not be truthful. It and I know, look, no one wants to get hurt, but at the end of the day, being hurt a little bit and knowing the truth is much better than it going on and on and on for a long period of time. And at the end of 10 years, you realize that you haven't been happy in 7 or 8. Like,
Yeah.
fuck. Like, and it's so many years wasted when you thought it could be something. Or you could have fixed it after 2 years when things started going awry, but no one wanted to tell the truth.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. If you're not honest, you're never going to get what you want. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, you're slowly going to.
You're burying yourself.
Yeah, and it's breaking. There's just small chips always coming out of that concrete, and sooner or later you can't patch it. And I think the truth will patch things. It'll stop the things that aren't real, so everybody isn't going to get hurt.
Yeah, so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it comes with that. I don't know. I think that both sides have their issues. And if let's say you're starting a relationship, I think the truthfulness has to begin from day one.
Mm-hmm.
You have to set a boundary, say what you want.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to start with making bad choices from the get.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up for failure.
Or intentions. Like, I think there is something about, like, men, I think in general, don't date with intention. I don't think. I think modern dating, women, again, have these such high expectations. I think dudes now are just dating to bang and then they're dropping it to the next one. Yeah,
because they don't want to deal with the bullshit.
Totally.
I'm so with them because in the dating scene, I don't want to deal with it either.
Yeah, so I understand. I think if you're dating with intention, I think the older you get, I hope you're dating with intention. If you're still 50 out there trying to bang chicks and that's all you're doing, you are going to have a horrible life. You just are. But if you are dating with intention, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. To me, and if it shocks you at 50 that the guy who goes, hey, I really only want to date you because I want you to be my wife. If you're shocked at that at 50, there's probably bigger problems.
And they start with you, not the guy you're dating.
But you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's the craziness of this. If being so truthful is a bad thing, I think that there's much larger problems.
Absolutely.
Because if you're saying how you feel, and again, I don't mean like after date 1, I mean after a couple of months. But I do think if someone asks you on the first date, if a girl asked me on the first date, like, hey, what are your intentions? I would go, my long-term intention as a man, me being me, is to be married again.
And the short terms are to get to know you to see if you would possibly be a good person.
Yes, if you'd be a good fit for that.
Yeah.
If you know the person a long time, like I do, I told her to her face, like, I want you to be my wife. That's my intention. My intention is just that. Because I know her for a long time. So I think that there is something way more there. So, but men, I think now that's the biggest lie. The biggest lie is, hey, I want to be in a relationship, and they get what they want and they jump out.
Yep.
And what do you think the big lie is for women? If I would ask you, what do you think because that's the biggest lie men tell. I want a relationship.
What's the biggest lie for women?
Yeah. What do you think they tell? What's the biggest lie a woman tells?
That's a good question.
When it comes to relationships.
Basically that they're okay just seeing where it goes when they want more.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
So I think the truth is start telling the truth. Start knowing what you want. Start being the person you want the other person in your life to be. And quit judging each other for being honest. and start working on the problems. Because if it's pissing you off that he said something, it probably means it's something you need to work on.
Yeah. I think the biggest lie women tell is, I want a good man, until they get one. Then they don't know what to do.
And then it shows all their flaws too.
Yeah. And look, and I don't mean it that way. I just think that, look, I think women generally like bad boys. It's a stigma for a reason. And I think that's why, if you look at movies, men like submissive, feminine women, because it's been in our DNA for hundreds and thousands of years.
Yep, you're right.
Just be honest.
Please.
You save so much time and pain being honest, that at the end of the day,
you wreck less people. You wreck less people that way.
And I think you wreck yourself less.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're in it to win it, say it. And realize that people will love you for who you are, regardless, if you're just honest.
And if they don't, you're with the wrong people.
And then you can go on to the person that you're supposed to be with.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. And 51 minutes later, we're out of here. Hey, any last words?
Be good to yourself and start telling the truth. And if people don't like it, they'll get used to it, or you'll find people that do enjoy it.
Correct. My last word is this: if you tell the truth and the people around you don't like it, it's not your fault.
Yeah. The truth always holds its own.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to tell the truth. The people around you will fall in line or fall out.
Exactly.
All right. Check us out on all these social media platforms. I'm doing better now, and I don't think they're going to tear us off and I'll get in trouble anymore. Also, start sharing this. Share it with everybody. We're on every podcasting platform you can feasibly think of. And for some reason, last week, we were all over Europe.
Hey.
I sent you that picture that one day, and it was like France, Italy, UK, Ireland, like everywhere last week. So
yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Somebody's sharing, so keep doing it. And look, it's an opinion show. Don't get it twisted. Keep coming back every Wednesday and check us out. For Tina, I'm Rob. We will see you in a week. Bye.
See ya.